Hello, my name is Steve Bigelow with the Candlestick Forum. The markets have told us exactly what they want to do, and that's based upon being able to identify patterns like we saw in the wedge pattern breakdown last week. That provided extremely high probability that not only had the wedge been broken, but we can use what we call the T-line factor. And that's very simple. If you see sell signals and a close below the T-line, the probabilities are extremely strong. And this is what has tremendously improved my trading through the years, that knowing that they've closed below the T-line, the probabilities become extremely strong that you're in a downtrend. That's why in our morning comments, we said, be careful. This strength that might be supporting at the 50 needs to see that strength continue going into the close. The reason we were a little bit skeptical was the fact that we're still below the T-line and your stochastics were heading lower. So that same T-line factor can be used in our analysis of the NASDAQ, where we saw the gap up last week, started seeing selling. Today it closed right at the T-line. Stochastics starting to roll over. But that puts us in a very good, advanced analysis state that we know that if we wake up tomorrow and the pre-market futures are showing that things are opening weaker, we can be shorting immediately because the probability factor of the T-line says if we see a sell signal and they start trading below the T-line, which they're already doing on the NASDAQ, on the Dow and the S&P 500, there's going to be more downside. This is what the analysis of candlesticks provide for an investor to see exactly what's going on, not what everybody's projecting or not what you're thinking, is what is the market actually doing. So that's what we're going to be working on for this next weekend, not this weekend, but September 18th. We're going to be doing a full day training on how to analyze when to start taking profits, even well before you might see a close below the T-line or a full-fledged confirmed sell signal, just when the probabilities based upon the graphics, the candlesticks, start telling you the bears are starting to take control. So we saw that in Santa. Now, look where there was a resistance level, look where there was selling, look where there was close below the T-line. The biggest fear factor, and I say this as experienced as myself, is we hate to close out a winning position because what if it turned around and went right back up? Well, that fear factor is greatly diminished with candlestick analysis because if the probabilities are that it could head lower, you can always buy back when you see the next candlestick signal, like a scoop pattern, morning star, J hook. So it's not like you're being left out if you close out a position when the probabilities say it's time to close out. You can always buy back when the probabilities say another pattern is setting up. So the patterns work very effectively. There's two major advantages to a pattern. One, it gives you a high probability that you're heading in the right direction. And two, the magnitude of that pattern or the results of that pattern is usually going to be fairly strong. So we saw that in Tesla when it broke out kind of through this resistance level with your best friend signal. Even when the market was soggy, we're still in an uptrend on Tesla. So anytime we can see it's time to start taking profits or going short based upon strong candlestick sell signals, and we know that the market is starting to turn over, we just dramatically improve our probabilities of being in the right place at the right time. So that is what we're concentrating on September 18th. Plan to join us. They're a full day session. They're not that expensive, but it gives you a lot of valuable insights that you're going to use constantly from here on in of when to take profits without that greed or fear factor of, boy, if I sell, maybe it'll go up without me. We want to play the probabilities of what investor sentiment is doing. And right now, with a close below the T-line, you can see what happened today. They even took the Dow right up to the T-line and sold it back off because the probabilities were that we were in a downtrend. That'll be it. We'll see you in the chat rooms.